Welcome, guys. The question I've actually had come up a couple times this week, and it is really an important one to understand some things, is how long should you work on the marriage or try to save it? I wish there was here's a chart. If you're married this long, it goes that long. It doesn't work like that. So here's some things that we do know. By the time you hear, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, I want a separation, I want a divorce, she has been mourning the relationship for 18 to 24 months. She has hinted and thinking, she has said, I'm unhappy, and you should have picked up on that. She has grieved the end of the relationship. Now, guys, never try to save the marriage. You save yourself. You work on yourself. You level up. You become a man, she goes, it's kind of like the way he was when we first met. You become a man she wants to be with, not to save the marriage, but to create a version 2.0 life. A loving, connected, deeply intimate relationship goes with guys who level up. Okay? Now, there will be men in the comments go, once she's decided to leave, it's over. And I will tell you, that's not true. Okay, a lot of times they're still indecisive when they finally get to that point, and how you respond instead of reacting sets the tone. Now, here's the kicker. To go from that to a loving, connected, deeply intimate version 2.0 relationship, I tell men typically takes between 18 and 24 months because you've been a nice guy, you've been needy, she's been unhappy. She is not going to believe the positive changes she sees for as much as 6 months, because she's going to think, he's just doing this so we don't get divorced. Just like when she complained about things you used to do, you would change something for 3 months and then it would fall by the wayside. Yeah, are you that guy? Because if you are, she's not going to trust you right away. And this time is different. You can tell her that, won't matter. Because you're doing it for yourself this time, not to get her to stop nagging, not to appease her. So this is the tricky part. So now what we have is, hey, I am doing this for me. And at a certain point, she will either turn towards you, where you begin building 2.0 together, or she will not. And eventually you will realize, I'm done. Because she either doesn't meet your standards, which is something they're not expecting, or you realize she's not interested, not going to change. But how long should you put in working on yourself and trying to save the marriage? Now, there's a lot of it depends there. If she's in a relationship with somebody else, don't wait too long. If she has turned back towards you, it kind of resets the clock. So I have worked with men who, between 1 and 3 years, they get to a version 2.0. Or by 2 years, they know they're done. And I also know there's another thing that comes up that a lot of men overlook, I'm going to talk about, which can cost you literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on your income level. But I see online all the time these men, we've been working to save the marriage for 5 years and she's not doing this and she's not. Why? If she doesn't turn towards you and you don't see her working on herself, trying to improve herself, and you're 2 years in and you've leveled up, be done. 2 to 3 years in. And I know somebody's going, yeah, but we have kids. Doesn't matter. If she's not looking to build with you, you need to have enough self-respect and love for yourself to move on. Now, if she's building with you and she turns towards you, it kind of, like I said, it restarts the clock. It may take 2 years to get there. And you have to be aware of 2 dangerous things that can happen in this time. If life is really difficult for her, she may want to move back in right away. She might want to reconnect, but you haven't seen her work on herself. She hasn't acknowledged anything she contributed to the death of the relationship. And she's talking about how hard it is as a single mom. Don't let her back in the house. Don't automatically jump to, oh, everything's great. She wants to choose you. You want her to choose you because she realizes she made a mistake and you're an amazing man. Not because life is hard when you're a single parent, okay? But here's the mistake that destroys men financially. During all of this, and a lot of times, women will do nothing to move forward the divorce that they say they want. And so you'll get a guy who'll work with a coach. He'll level up. They come back together, but it's never been a version 2.0. She's still got a lot of issues. She hasn't worked on a lot of things herself because there's kids involved. And then, or if it's not right and you're kind of still tolerating, you're trying to figure it out, when you make the decision to divorce, suddenly then she's willing, she wants to give it one more chance and wants to work on it. Surprisingly, this happens with women when they're in a state where they're getting close to the alimony number. So there are some states, alimony is only awarded if you've been married for so long. If your marriage has been horrible for 5 years, you've been working on yourself for 2, you've leveled up, and a year from now alimony kicks in, but she's not eligible for it now, I'm sorry. Don't believe suddenly she wants to work on things again and give it another. No, especially if you've been separated for a couple of years after having a couple of years of problems and you've worked on yourself. At a certain point, you have to decide, what do I want, and move forward with that. Now, can you reconnect later? Yes. A lot of people say there's never a second bite at the apple. Here's what I see that leads to successful reunification post-divorce. It's been a year or more. Your ex has gone to therapy, coaching, counseling, whatever, and has realized, oh, I had issues and I contributed a lot to X, Y, and Z. When that happens, and then you guys decide to come back and give it another go, is a high probability it could work. But you don't instantly, the only advice I would give a man is, where I tell men to date 2 or 3 women. In this situation, you only exclusively date your ex, because if you're looking at the potential of version 2.0 post-divorce, absolutely you got to date only her. And then the same rules apply. Prenup. She gets nothing if it doesn't work. Absolutely nothing. And if there's a house or any joint assets, they get split. There is no anything. Okay? So do not let a last-ditch Hail Mary that you think she actually might want to save the marriage when there's been no forward progress without factoring in, when does alimony kick in? Because if you go from filing for divorce in the next 2 months or next year, and the difference is $3,000 a month in alimony for 10 years, do you think she might be aware of that? Something to think of. So you're going to spend 2 to 3 years trying to build the version 2.0 of yourself in this. Guys can build their version, but you got to give her some time to come around. But being separated or struggling and fighting for a marriage for 5 and 6 years is insane. So that's what I got for you today. Hit the like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions, my contact information is down below. Catch you later, guys.